I keep posting videos about how things happen right on time, and I mentioned that no one is in your life by accident. And for years now, I've been plugging in various names of my family and friends and seeing how they fall. And I look at the midpoints and I look at the Sabian symbols and the composite charts and the synastry. And doing it with my method, you find so many truths to your storyline with the people, whether it's good or bad. Um, if you know certain dates, you can go back with those names and asteroids of the events, and you can see that, it happened right on time, which is what I keep showing. So, what I wanted to do uh, with this one, these are my four best girlfriends since childhood, and they've all helped me in their way with my path. There are many other people that I can still do that fit in so well. Um, it's fun to see how my name falls into their charts too. But I could also do my family, and that that's a lot of fun. I have a private one with the exact names of some of the family members and places we've lived that I share occasionally with people that I'll redo one day where it's more disguised. But so anyway, so my four best girlfriends, we all met in a small Indiana town. See, my Indiana is right here with my Eris and Chiron, Mercury, Ginky, my childhood nickname, and the elementary school name that I went to actually sits here at 27 degrees, also Sagittarius in seventh house, which is my committed relationships with other people, opposite first house of self. The people that I grew up with, most of them from the elementary school days, are still very good friends of mine. The name of the town actually sits here at 23 degrees, and that connects in a lot of different ways that I'm not showing. So anyway, so the four best girlfriends. Let's see, who do we start with? No favoritism here. I'm gonna start with the green one, my tiny little bodyguard. She's little more than half my size. She's always protected me. You see my Mars and Saturn here in the 12th house. I've always been kind of a scaredy cat. Keep my power to myself, keep to myself, and not stand up for myself. But this one here, she always has all 5 foot of her. I'm about 5'10" myself, so it's pretty funny to see Mutt and Jeff when we're together. She's been a very important part of my life. She actually came in later than some of the other ones. Fourth grade is when I first met her, and we hit it right off. I've been told that she and I have been sisters in past lives, and even literally sisters, nuns. So it's really funny to see her maiden last name sits at my south node in the third house, which does kind of agree with that, what I was told. And it connects over here to a version of her name, a version of her nickname that ends in Fowler that sits here at my Black Moon Lilith. She's always been one to really spell things out for you. She, she's she's an Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, so she's very unique, very outspoken. So anyway, so she is the first person that when I started doing astrology, I really wanted to see because she suffers from migraines and she's had some many tragic relationships. I wanted to see if astrology could show me the why of that. Uh, I think we did find some answers that I've shared personally with her. But, you know, her married name sits right here at my Pluto, which of course sits opposite my Atlantis and my Diaritza asteroids. Back to Fowler, she is currently raising chickens, so I thought that was really funny with the Fowler. She is a Fowler now with all her chicken babies. Um, Her legal name, first name, sits here in the second house, Cancer. She's one that's always talked about, spirituality with me and all the different. She follows all the different festivals, pagan things, and witchy things. Uh, so we can talk about things more like that. And let's see, what else do I have here? This one here with the Bennett afterwards is a 17 degree, falls here with a lot of my other ones. Um, and she's been a very important part of me. Aries rules the self. 11th house is your friends. And 17 degrees, of course, connects to my Gagnereau and my part of fortune. Um, let's see. And then this version of her nickname with Wong after it, 1946, connects over here to Hades. I'll explain that in a moment. And to my Venus, Isis. Uh, it actually connects to my Icarus, which is things happening in right order, as nature intended. So it makes various connections around. She's also opposite my Spirit and Uranus here. And all right, so when I was finished up with ninth grade, I moved to Sarasota, which of course sits near my son here, Sarasota, Florida. And this particular girlfriend came down and visited quite often, extended stays. She always traveled with my family. She used to braid my hair while we sat in the waiting room after my grandmother's surgery. She was just always with me. Um, so where was I going? So when I was living in Sarasota, I just happened to sit next to the man that became her first husband. He sits right here at 1741, right here with my Gagnereau. And he had a horrible accident. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to look into her relationships and see why. She's had several. But, so, we have this connection here. And, of course, connects there and all around. And during my Uranus opposition, Saturn square at 42, I ran to Phoenix, where she was living. And it's really funny to see that the nodes midheaven, Mercury, Neptune, Chiron, and Mars, Uranus are all here near my Phoenix, ninth house. Ninth house rules long distance journeys. I went from Texas to Arizona to go live in Phoenix. Mars movement, Uranus is chaotic. I drug all my kids, and then I left just as quickly in 6 months. But while I was there, she helped me out a lot. I had a lot of amazing synchronicities happen while I was living in Phoenix. Um, it took me to my next path. But anyway, so yeah, my little tiny bodyguard here, she's been very important in my life. I think I've covered all of hers. This one should be a light blue. And let's see, light blue, I guess, will be the next one. So light blue is a friend of mine that came to this school in the third grade, and I did not like her. I know now she's a beautiful 12th house Scorpio moon and rising. She's found her place helping people pass on as her career, and but I did not like her at first. And we actually fought over my little tiny bodyguard as friends through fourth grade, and then by fifth grade, though, we were best friends. She and I are much taller than our other friends. We had a lot more in common in that way. Um, so I just have to laugh. It's so funny how we start out being friends with people. Okay, so in the light blues. Now I have a video. I saw her for dinner a few months ago, and she's the one person that has really caught on to my technique, and she can go on and she can plug in her own asteroids for her life and track things like I do. Really picked it up with that 12th house moon and Scorpio rising. But anyway, so we found several names. One of them that she had found for her, uh, this is part of the name of the asteroid, and it says here at 1715 degrees, which of course connects here to my Gagnereau with Spirit and Uranus right in the middle. Uh, Connects around to tiny bodyguard and anything else that I have there around 17 degrees. Let's see here. Nessus in my first house is conjunct the county name that all of these girls and I met, and my childhood home's original address before they changed it, are all at 17 to 18 degrees. So that's an important thing to point out. Nessus is a troublemaker, but it's also uh, for healing ancestral and karmic wounds. So very, very potent connection to all my girlfriends and a lot of my other friends from that county and from my own family. Uh, so let's see, with her, look for the light blues. Her maiden name right here at 14 degrees connects over to my Ginky childhood nickname. And it sits at my Uranus ascendant, which is, midpoint, which is 13 degrees, 48 minutes. I mean, you can't get much closer. It sits opposite another version of her name, ending in Ura. Oh, I was saying that when I met her for dinner and we had our astro talks and all that, I already have the charts half made to make a video showing everything, the pizza restaurant and everything right on time. But um, so back to her. Let's see. Oh yes, this one that was supposed to be light blue. This was her last marriage. It was her name and the husband's name all in one asteroid. And it was very interesting to see that it sits right here on my descendant axis opposite my ascendant. When she was with this man, we actually got closer and talked more uh, on the awakening path and helped each other out a lot with our conversations. So it just really shows how important she was to me being here on my descendant axis of other people opposite my ascendant. Um, this one ending in Shin, actually, she shares a name with my neighbor that I grew up with, and we'll get to that in a minute. But so this version of Shin here at 2553 connects all around, and especially to my progressed sun, um, which has been around 26 degrees the last couple years that we've really been getting more serious on our paths. Um, so what she does, people call her a hero. She found this one. She thought it was hilarious. It's her name with the word hero. And it couldn't be more perfect where it falls exactly opposite my Uranus. Uranus, of course, is the creativity and the astrology and the ruler of the 11th house here, part of the future, the internet, technology, etc. We do a lot of side talking on Messenger, and so just very interesting to see how she falls there. And of course, let's see, when we go to the Shin here, so I guess we'll take my neighbor next that I grew up with. Her mother's name was the same name as that girlfriend. Um, so the neighbor maiden name's at 2344, right near the 2553. My dad's new updated address is 2528. Uh, that's my Uranus, Lilith, and Moon Neptune midpoints are here. And she and I lost track of each other a long time ago. Just we each had our different ways. She married somebody that I knew from another town that I'd lived in. I moved around a lot as a kid. That also happens to sit right here. Uh, Connects to another great girlfriend whose name sits right here at my ascendant. But so anyway, next thing is for her husband passed away at about the same time as my orange girlfriend here. And since she and I had not been in touch for a long time, uh, and I was still very, very close with this friend in orange, I had all of my attention focused on her at that time. Um, but it wound up it's been okay. The last few years, she and I've gotten much closer. So both of their husbands, the purple and orange, passed away at the same time. So she's in purple here, and the Irish version of her husband's name sits right here at 23 degrees again, which of course connects to her maiden name. Tatiana sits at exactly 2358. And Tatiana is the guardian of knowledge and truth. She's a devoted daughter of Sophia, which means wisdom, and remains within the spiritual realms of the earth plane to bring comfort, stamina, and focus to seekers. So I thought that was really interesting to see that they were exactly the same degree. My sun moon midpoint is 2454. So right nearby, Angel is 2246. Now the reason I bring this up is because she had posted something long after he had passed and thought that it was a message from him. So for the first time in forever, I side messaged her and I said, that was a message from him. And we got to talking and I got her chart and I was able to pull it up and see. But so very interesting that this version of his name sits next to Angel. His first name sits here at my Black Moon Lilith Vertex Quaor. I have a packed area right through here. And so that's where her husband's first name sits. I knew him as a child, and it's also the name of somebody else that was very important to me. So let's see, another version of her name here at 2154 is a Jupiter Neptune midpoint for me, and that's opposite Angel in the Tatiana, and at almost 22 degrees would of course connect to her maiden name. Oh, that's what it was. I knew there was something. There's a version of her name here, Lur, that ends in Lur, and it's exactly opposite her husband's name. So this is how they all show up in my chart. It's different in her chart. She's a few years younger than me. We were childhood neighbors, and we were all each other had for the longest time. Another version of her name ending in Maya sits here at 8 degrees, which is still within range of my moon, but it sits on my Neptune ascendant midpoint. I've studied her charts a lot, um, and those are her various family members that I know. And of course, that connects to my ascendant, Uranus node midpoint, and connects to my Vesta, connects all around anything 7 to 8 degrees, my Jupiter. So, is that all the neighbor girl? Oh, her married name. Last name is another one of the 17 degrees. That was one of them. So, of course, that connects to my Gagnereau. All right, so the last one, not the least at all, I just call her Serendip trip because even though we've been friends since sixth grade, um, after her husband passed, mine gave me the free range to go on a road trip with her from Florida to Virginia to spread her husband's ashes. So we took a nice long road trip. And I will tell you, that was an amazing trip. Uh, the synchronicities were incredible. The contact from her husband, just absolutely incredible. Now you can see her first and last name sits here at 1139 in my seventh house. And that's opposite my Serendip, which is at 1047, my Uranus and nodes. Um, this is when things were really starting to get heavy for me. So it was pretty early. What year was that? 2018. Um, it was really crazy. We took a wrong turn and wound up going past a gypsy shop. That's where I found my one and only crystal that's ever spoken to me, um, vibrating in my hand, and it was just an amazing trip, despite the circumstances, of course. But um, so with her also here, her married name sits in my eighth house, which is the eighth house of death and transformation, magic, the occult. Her husband's first name in light blue had the same first name of her husband, the one that was right here. That sits right here. That's why I did it in two different colors, because the husband's first name was exactly the same name. Um, it sits at my Neptune nodes, Moon, Mercury, Sun, Pluto, right around in that area. Connects more to my Mars, Saturn midpoint. Um, and of course, down over here to my Pluto. But let's see, where were we? Her maiden name sits here near my Hades. That was another one that connects with my little tiny bodyguard in green. The Hades, the death, uh, connected to both of them through death events, and also showing that everything happens right on time, which is another Hades thing where I dig to uncover information in regards to that. A version of her name, Tony, with an I, sits right here at my moon. And oh, her married name here is conjunct my Jupiter nodes at 1934 and my moon Venus at 1736. Jupiter, of course, is long distance journeys and nodes of destiny's path. Moon, emotions and intuition, and Venus, people and things that we love and care about, and our values, self worth. Very important points. Um, so, yeah, that just kind of shows how I plug things in. It's not just, I could put so many midpoints in, I could put so many more names and go, wow, wow, wow. Um, and of course, I'm missing things. See, this Juno here is opposite Genki Mercury, which rules early childhood, and Chiron, Indiana, all that. Um, the more you learn and the more you plug things in and you understand and you start putting the pieces together. So that somehow I do the people in my life. Um, they also move around by transit, and I can get a phone call or they'll pop up out of the blue and they'll be there by transit making aspects just right on time. So there's just a little bit of what I do. So thank you for watching. Thank you, girls, for always being there for me and helping me along. I hope I've helped you out. I love you all so very dearly. Thank you.